Hello and welcome to NOV Live. I'm Michael Gaines, host of the podcast NOV Today, and glad you are with us today as we come to you with another conversation on technology and concepts in the energy industry, and look forward to having a great conversation with you and with our subject matter expert for today, which for those that are just joining in, we're going to be talking about managed pressure drilling and how NOV sees that space. So it should be a great conversation. And again, looking forward to having all of you join in with your questions as we jump in today. So before we do that, we are going to jump over to Shelby Dumaine and see if she can go ahead and give us a quick overview of how you can participate and, of course, have our special segment. So, hey, Shelby, thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Hey, Michael. Today I think there's been a lot of really great conversations about MPD across the web this week. So here on our show, if you'd like to join the conversation, we welcome you to ask any questions you have for Michael or for our guest Dwayne throughout the show. To do so, you can comment it below, whether you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. I am in the comment section on all those platforms throughout the show, looking at your questions, and we're going to get to as many as we can throughout the show. Speaking of questions, it's now time for my favorite segment, I think. It's the Rig Geeks.
Rig Geeks, Post of the Week.
All right, so if you're just joining us for the first time, Rig Geeks is the time of the show each week where I ask you, the audience, a trivia question. And then at the end of the show, I will reveal the answer and see if any of our Rig Geeks there in the comments got the question correct. So this week we have an image to go along with the question. We're going to show that now. And our question is, what type of choke is this? Hydraulic or electric? And then bonus points for that question. So other than what type it is, we're going to ask, bonus points are, where can this choke be used? Offshore, shelf, or land? So put your comments in or put your answers in the comment section below. And we're going to see at the end of the show if anybody can get the Rig Geeks question correct. All right, back to you, Michael.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. And actually, before we leave you, Shelby, I know that one of the new things that we have is a way for folks to engage with us and to give us kind of some of their ideas or comments, whether it's on Rig Geeks or our conversation in general. I know we're going to talk about it at the end of the show as well, but just wanted to remind folks, how can they get in touch with us, inclusive of email?
Absolutely. So if anyone wants to email us, that email is socialmedia@nov.com. So that's on the screen right now. You can email us, like you said, Michael, if you have any other questions you wanted to ask or any ideas for future topics, you can let us know there. And then one of our new features is a phone number, a kind of comment line. So that number is 346-223-4799. So everybody watching at home or work, you can call in that number. You can stay anonymous if you want to be anonymous, or you can let us know your name and we'll feature you on the next show. So just, I hope we can get in contact with everyone there and hope to hear from them.
All right, great. Yeah, no, looking forward to that. Thanks, Shelby. All right, so yeah, as Shelby mentioned, and as I mentioned a moment ago, we're talking about managed pressure drilling, or MPD for short. And really want to talk about that space because it's an area that not only has continued to have steady and increased focus and attention in the technical community, but some of those innovations and applications continue to really draw a good amount of conversation, both in the industry and otherwise. So here at NOV, we wanted to bring in one of our experts, and so we're going to be bringing in Dwayne Barnwell, who is the MPD Western Hemisphere Sales Account Manager, is going to be our subject matter expert and special guest for the day. So Dwayne, thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we're just going to kind of jump in. I know since I've been in the industry and certainly before that MPD has really been a really interesting key technology and application. And has been around for a while, yet it seems to, if nothing else, continue to grow in popularity and really gaining a lot of interest. So could you maybe just, for those that aren't as familiar, give us a little bit of background and history on kind of the MPD space in general?
Yeah, absolutely. So before we go into the history of it, I just wanted to kind of touch a little bit about, what exactly is MPD, and so the IADC, the technical definition of it is an adaptive process used to precisely control annular pressure. And if you want to break it down to more layman's term, it's just basically being able to dynamically control pressure in the wellbore using surface equipment. In this case, it's a choke. And more or less, why would you want to use MPD? Are things, if you're drilling and you're having situations where you want to control such things as fluid losses or manage your any kind of kicks, increase your ROP, lower your production cost, or anything like that, manage things like stuck pipe or anything like that. Those are the types of scenarios where you would want to use MPD to dynamically manage what's happening in the well at any one point. And going into the second part of your question there about the history, MPD has been around quite a few years. I mean, if you go back all the way back to the 1930s, even NOV has been in the MPD space since back in the 1930s. I think around 1937 we built our first rotating head, the Schaefer, one of the Schaefer heads. And so it's not something that NOV has just recently, decided to get into the foray. Over the years, NOV has actually just been, and from the manufacturing standpoint, manufacturing a lot of the MPD equipment to service the industry, whether that's chokes, manifolds, valves, and entire MPD systems, and adding the controls to that. And then around 2013, 2014, NOV decided to, they see that the need for the industry aligned with NOV's values in managing and servicing the drilling contractors. And so NOV decided to get into the space to kind of make sure that drilling contractors are being serviced. So NOV's history, from one point has been bringing the technology and selling it more or less on orders, and then has recently gotten into, like I said, recently as 2014 gotten into the business of providing the equipment directly to the industry also.
Right. So I know that you're talking about the industry, and I know that even as recent as this week, there are some concentrated conversations of folks coming together talking about MPD, looking at some of the technical considerations and ways that the space can continue to grow. And so when you think about, at least me, when I've initially thought about MPD, I've thought of kind of the hardware side of things, which certainly is a key component, but I know that there's more to it than just kind of the hardware side of things. Yeah. How do we look at that? How do you look at that when you hear something say, okay, well, let me just see the hardware part of it?
So that's, if you're only looking at the hardware part, you're missing out the brains of the operation is really the software. And one of the things that NOV has really done a good job at is marrying really good hardware with really good software. And so I want to touch a little bit while we're on it on the systems that we have and basically the models that we have. So right now NOV has two basic business models when it comes to MPD. The first being rentals, where we can, we've put together some packages, some really good robust packages that we can rent to operators, drilling contractors, or service companies. And so with those packages, we're able to marry that pedigree of really good hardware along with that pedigree of really good software, put them together and deliver to the industry really fit for purpose packages. And then on the other side is we sell, we design and sell hardware and software to customers, both on bespoke. We can design specific hardware requirements that the customer may need. We can definitely do that and design that for them. We have a really good engineering and design team to do just that. Along with that, we have a really good software engineering team that has, if you really look at what the team that does the MPD software, those are the same team that does the Amphion cyber-based type of software packages. So it's not fly-by-night software engineering by any stretch of the imagination. It's really robust software design and that we put into our MPD software. So with by only focusing on the hardware, really and truly, you're missing out 90% of it, which is the software, and having really good software to manage all of that, manage the challenges that the customer has in the field.
Okay, so maybe can you maybe talk to a little more on the software side? So what are some of those maybe specific offerings that we do have?
Okay, yeah. Let me address that. And so when we look at the rental side, we start out with our 1500S packages. We start out with the 1500S package. It's our entry level system. And what this system has is it marries a single hydraulic choke with a robust control system that is simple enough that we can basically bring it to the rig, get it installed on the rig, and we train the rig crew how to use it, how to operate it, and we will provide that additional service in the background, whether it's servicing the choke, servicing the hardware, doing the installations, and any kind of training that's required. We marry that particular system with a really good software package that is very simple to use, very intuitive, and addresses just about everything that most challenges on U.S. land can be addressed with this particular system. So this particular software package, as you see it there, we can do a few different things with it. We have the traditional or the conventional MPD, as well as when we want to do displacement of fluids, this software package can do very strategic and automatic displacement of drilling fluids in the wellbore. The next package that we have is our mid-tier, which is our 1500 SE package. And that is, again, a single choke, but this is where we step it up to the electric choke system. It's very suitable for land applications also. But the really unique thing about this particular package is the fact that it can be integrated with NOVOS on some of the drilling rigs that have that platform. And we have done so successfully on several different installs. Again, very small footprint package. And when we look at the software piece to it, what we've done is we've really done we've upgraded the software from the 1500S to a more robust software offering with a few more technical requirements that were needed to satisfy this. So, for example, with this software package, you have 3 different pressure transmitters monitoring the wellbore pressure, and that's redundancies that we've put in there. We were able to do early kick loss detection on this particular system. And again, like I said, one of the very, very unique things about this system is the ability to control it through, to get it integrated into any Amphion rig, or to be controlled through NOVOS. And the third, or the high-end package that we offer, is our 5000S system. Here you can see it in the field, installed on a rig. And what we offer with this particular system is dual electric chokes and a fully automatic pressure control valve, pressure relief valve, along with the flow meter for the early kick loss detection, and a few other automated controls that are in there. So with this, we marry it with the most advanced control system that and software that we have. And so with the software that we see here, we've put a lot of smart features into this. Things like choke clogging detection we've built into it. That's an automatic feature. So the system can detect automatically if one of the chokes are clogging, switch over to the other choke. You can also control back if this particular package is installed on a rig that we control, and we can control the back pressure pump automatically through it. And then we marry this particular software package with our comprehensive hydraulic model, and we really have a fully automated MPD system to offer the market.
Wow. So yeah, no, that's good. And I appreciate the explanation, because it looks like there are a broad range of applications and considerations that have gone into those offerings.
And
go ahead.
And that was done intentionally. What we wanted to do was offer the customers fit for purpose solutions. Mm-hmm. We didn't want to shoehorn customers into, okay, you have to take this particular package, or you have to take that particular package. We wanted to listen to the customers and address their concerns or their challenges with the right solution. And so what we're recognizing in this industry or in this particular market is some customers have very technical wells, so they need very technical solutions. Some are very simple challenges that they have, or and may not need such a high-end solution. So what we try to do is marry the solution to the problem and offer the customer the best solution on the market.
So for those that have just joined us, we are talking with Dwayne Barnwell, who is the MPD Western Hemisphere Sales Account Manager here at NOV, and we're talking about managed pressure drilling and just some of the ideas and concepts in that space. So if you are an expert, or if this is the first time that you have heard about MPD and have a question for Dwayne, feel free to put that in the comment section if you're watching us on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, and we will try to get to your question as we continue our conversation here today. And it looks like we've got numerous folks that have joined us. I see from Brazil, California, here in Texas. Looks like we've got folks as far as India joining us. So thank you all for joining us. And again, if you have a question about MPD or about some of the technologies that we've been talking about, feel free to put that in the comment section, and we'll try to get to that. So Dwayne, kind of going back to you here, I know that, as you've already mentioned, there's a broad range of solutions when you're looking at not only the hardware side and software to create packages for customers. Could you talk a little bit about some of the additional services and support that the MPD group can provide those that are interested in kind of knowing a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we've done is we have, so for the customers that what our standard offering does not meet their needs, for example, the customers that want to buy the packages, we can sell those packages. So that's one of the services that we offer. We sit down with you, we design a package with you in mind, and that type of thing. So there's the rental side, there's the sales side of it, and so with some of the controls and the automation that we've put into, like I said, the sale part is to help with the customers that have very, they want to get their rig more to get their rig more competitive, or to offer more services to their customers, the operators. We are there to support and help with them with that. So additionally, with some of the services that we offer, when we do on the rental side, for example, we have really good equipment support. We've leveraged NOV's footprint across the US and around the world to be able to provide really robust equipment support for everything that we have rented out in the field, whether that's spares, that's tools, that's troubleshooting. We're basically local wherever the operation is. And the really unique thing about NOV is that we are the OEM for all of the equipment that we build. So we control the spares also. So we don't have to necessarily wait on third parties to help with spares and that type of thing. When it comes to personnel support, we offer, I would say, second to none, first in class personnel support when it comes to installation and commissioning of the equipment. When it comes to training, NOV speaks for itself. When it comes to training, we have training facilities around the world, and we offer hands-on training as well as classroom training for our customers that are either renting or buying our equipment. We want to make sure that whether you're renting it or you're buying it, we want to make sure you understand how to use it safely and how to help you achieve the goals that you're trying to achieve. On the rental side, one of the really cool things that I like about what we do is we have a subscription model. I mean, everyone is familiar with subscription models today. Whether you're using Netflix or any one of those other shows or anything like that. So our subscription model is basically allows you to rent the equipment on a flat monthly rate. And what we think it does is it incentivizes our customers to use the equipment more than versus when they have to pay a day rate for usage versus a standby rate and that type of thing. So we want to eliminate a lot of those penalty fees. And so we think that with a subscription model, we are able to get through to a lot of customers and use the equipment more. Now that's just part of that. Now we have the engineering support on the other side of it. And the engineering support goes really, really deep when it comes to being able to do the hydraulic simulations for the well and provide that part of it. Now, what we find is a lot of customers, some of these drilling engineers, they're more managers of the well delivery managers than drilling engineers, and that's just the nature of the nature of the industry. And so, what a lot of them are looking forward to is MPD companies or MPD partners that can help them with some of this engineering that's required to drill these wells safely. And so, that's one of the things that NOV, we have a very good comprehensive hydraulic model that has been developed by the corporate R&D team. They've spent a lot of years behind this product, and we're very proud of it. And so we can do things like the hydraulic simulations for, okay, this is the best mud weight to use, this is the best back pressure to use, this is the best ROP, this is the best way to clean the hole while we're drilling. So we can run all these simulations and provide the customer with some best case scenarios on how to achieve their goals. We can provide rollover schedules for customers who need that. Where we can say, we can plan the rollover, we can plan the entire drilling operation for them and give them all of that information up front. One of the other things that we do is swap surge analysis, where we can basically evaluate the drill string that you're using or the equipment that is on the wellbore and kind of plan that swap surge and make sure that we're compensating for that using the MPD equipment on surface. We can also do put together MPD drilling programs for our customers. We've done that very successfully in the past, and we continue to do that today. And additionally to that, we can do end-of-well reports and that type of thing. So the engineering support and this is all part of what we can offer when it comes to our rental services. Now, when it comes to the sale and the permanent installation, this week, and we don't stop right here. We go on to the training piece where we want to add that training for the customers who have purchased the equipment. And so we want to make sure that part of that is that now that you've bought that entire software package, we want to make sure you understand how to use it and use it very effectively to achieve the goals of your customer or the operators. And so part of that engineering support will be things like envelope protection, where we have modules within our hydraulic model for envelope protection. And envelope protection for the layman's is basically making sure that we stay within the wellbore while we're drilling the well. We stay within the limits of the wellbore, I should say. Right. And then early kick loss detection, how do we mitigate it? How do we manage it? How do we detect it? So early kick loss detection is one of the key things when we're drilling, especially when this very, very safety conscious environment we're in the oil field today. And then when we do things like displacing wellbore, we can do things like tracking different types of fluids. Our model is good enough to track up to 10 different fluids if we want to at any one time. So a lot of these things that these are services that NOV offer, and they're all in-house services with the software and the hardware that are built in-house.
Right. All right. Well, let's go ahead and start to get some of the questions that I think I've started to see coming in the comment section here. I know that folks have been pretty active there. So Shelby, want to bring in Shelby Domain and see if we can get some of those questions that we have. Hey, Shelby.
Hey, yes, we have this first question comes from Scott on LinkedIn, and he was wondering, can the driller control the MPD system?
So the answer is yes, and that is the end-all, be-all vision of NOV, is we put the driller back in control of the entire drilling operation. We've trusted the driller we trust drillers with drilling the entire wells, and we feel confident enough that with enough training and with a simple enough or an intuitive enough MPD system and control system, we feel that the drillers can be trained to drill with it. So to answer his question, yes, absolutely, the drillers can use and can control the MPD system, and that's NOV's goal, is to put the driller back in charge.
Okay, yeah, and we have another question, kind of same. It's also from Scott, maybe kind of in the same vein. He's wondering if you could talk a little bit more about how automated the system is, and if we can run it from an RTOC.
So like a remote technology, like a remote support center, right?
Yes, remote technology operating center. So
right.
So when it comes to the automation, Scott, thanks for the questions. What we have is when we have the hydraulic model running the system or controlling the MPD system, once we've built that model, Once is that the parameters have been inputted into our model, the system becomes fully automated at that point. And so automation can be done on two different levels. When we have the software driving the MPD portion of it, and then we have things like Novos or Amphion or cyber-based system driving the hardware piece of it. So when we combine those two, where we have the comprehensive hydraulic model that's driving the MPD system, as far as that's the engine behind the MPD system that's saying, okay, you need to be maintaining this pressure at this point in the well bore. When we're going to be executing on this particular operation, this is what the chokes need to be doing. Then we have the automation for Novos that's controlling, okay, this is what the mud pumps need to be doing to achieve this target for the MPD system. This is what the top drive need to be doing. This is what the drawworks need to be doing. So when we put all of that together, we have a fully automated system where we take a lot of the guesswork out and we take a lot off the driller's shoulders. Oftentimes what you find is when we first introduced the concept of the drillers being back in control, a lot of people were apprehensive just because they're like, oh man, the driller has so much to do already. Why are we adding another thing to his plate? And what we find is now when you add the really intuitive automation and really good hardware, and we put it all together with the driller in mind, oftentimes the drillers, they once they realize what they have, they can't go back to the old ways of doing things.
So, and as you kind of talk about, the when you're thinking about how we used to do things, what we're doing now, of course, the next logical step is, okay, well, what are we going to be doing kind of in the future, looking ahead on the horizon? So as folks are kind of listening to you, talk about some of the capabilities that we have, could you kind of talk about, what can we expect out of the MPD offerings that you and the team are ready?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the really cool things that we're taking MPD is, I mean, people are so familiar with applications, is that we've built we're building we've built an MPD application for Novos. So basically, we can get that installed, and that's gonna supercharge your MPD applications or your MPD in the usage. So one of our vision is to continue pushing the integration story, whether it be land rigs, offshore rigs. We want to continue pushing that integration story. And integration does not only have to happen with NOV only rigs. What we want to make sure is that the end of it is the driller. Our vision, again, like I said, is the driller back in charge. And so you can see from this particular photo here is the fact that what we want to do is leverage that high-speed data on that network to basically avoid having unnecessary redundancies in the system, and continue to take advantage of the data that's already on the rig to drive the MPD system. And so when we look at what the future brings for NOV and MPD, is to continue pushing the envelope on the integration front, is to continue to automate the system, is to continue to make the system intuitive enough that the drillers find it easy to use. And then, when we can all take a breather, or I guess a step back, is when MPD becomes just a default method of drilling. There is no such thing as conventional drilling in a sense. Actually, MPD drilling is the conventional way of drilling wells now. And so even listening today in one of our with our colleagues today in the IADC meeting, it's really and truly getting the rigs to get to that point that MPD just becomes the default way of drilling. And that's our vision of having MPD on every rig.
Right. So I know that one of the questions that would be asked, you said integrating with Novos, would be, is that applicable, with Cyberbase and Amphion together, or how does that look?
So if any customer has a Cyberbase rig or an Amphion rig, if you were to get a Novos software suite onto that rig also, and we can integrate very, very easily into that with our MPD application. But that's not the end all be all. We can integrate into Cyberbase and Amphion rigs that are non-Novos also. So Novos just takes that integration and supercharges it to where it's fully automated. Now Novus is controlling everything on the rig floor, versus where the driller would have otherwise had to control a few of these things. But we can integrate directly into the chair, and that's one of the things that I wanted to separate out, Mike. You'll see a lot of our competition out there speaking about they've done integration and they have integrated rigs and integrated MPD systems. And yeah, I mean, everybody can bring a choke manifold and put it out on the rig and consider that integration. Everybody can install an RCD and run some hard pipe, and okay, that's integration. But that's when we really, really, really drill down to it. The real integration is when it's sitting in the driller's chair. When you're controlling your entire MPD system in the driller's chair, that's the true essence of integration. Mm-hmm. Just having some hardware spotted around the rig and plugged in, that's installation more than anything. What we're trying to drive for is integration. And so that's what separates NOV from the rest of the market out there.
Right. Well, I know that today's conversation, personally for me, was enlightening, and I always enjoy kind of getting some of that insight. But it's not about me; it's about those that are watching. So we're going to get to some more of those questions in actually right now. There it is. All right, Shelby. So do we have some additional questions from those that are watching?
Absolutely. So this one came from Leonardo on LinkedIn, and he's wondering what are the choke sizes offered with NOV MPD?
Great question. Thanks for that question, Leonardo. So NOV offers choke sizes in two major sizes. We have 4-inch chokes, we have 7-inch chokes. And those can be dressed with different internal configurations to meet the actual needs. But essentially, when we look at the needs for a 7-inch choke, most places you will find those chokes are going to be applicable for the offshore market, the 7-inch choke. And NOV is one of only 2 providers on the market today that offers that size of choke. Our 4-inch choke is our workhorse. It's been around the block for a long time, and it's the 3rd generation of that choke, the HXC G3. It's one of the most robust MPD chokes on the market. The 7-inch choke is also part of the HXC family, the HXC 76. And so those 2 chokes are sizes that we offer within our MPD family.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So this next question, what kind of footprint does the products leave on the rig?
Awesome question. So when we look at it, to answer that question, we have to understand first what system is being used. So our smallest footprint is our 1500S and our 1500SE systems, where we can basically mount a choke off the stack, and it's very small footprint. Most times the rigs, when we install that package, the rig can move from well to well with little to no impact on the MPD system. And so we can install that choke directly on the stack or right off the side, depending on how the customer wants it. So that's between the 1500S and the 1500SE. Those are the 2 smallest footprint packages that we have. When we get into the 5000 series packages, you start getting into that manifold type of situation. Again, we've designed it to be small footprint, but it's a little bit bigger than that one with the dual choke and that advanced control system. So that's a little bit of a bigger footprint.
Mm-hmm. Great. So this next question, this comes from Barrera Jacob. And before I ask it, let me show it now. I know we can't name names, but can you talk a little bit generally about how the system is being used currently and generally what feedback you've gotten?
Absolutely. So I'm not going to speak about who is using it, but I can tell you where it's being used. So U.S. land, our 1500S system has been our workhorse. I mean, that system has been out, whether it's in Oklahoma, we've used it in the Permian, we used it in the Northeast. So that system has been around the block, both for NOV rentals where the customer rents it directly from NOV, or where we rent it to service companies that come and rent our equipment. So that system has been quite a few places and is very, very popular, just because the drillers like the simplicity of the software and the intuitiveness of the software. It actually comes with an iPad, and they rent it off the iPad. The 5000 series systems has been used several times around the U.S. Up in Wyoming area. We've used that system quite extensively up there, and now we're international with that system. That system has been used in Africa. It's been used, and it's actually being prepared to be used in Southeast Asia also. So that system has been around, and the customers who use that system, the fact that there's the automation and the intuitiveness and the redundancies that we've put into that system is what attracts most of those customers to that particular system. So to answer the question, like I said, I can't say who, but to answer the question is more along the lines of we've used all of our systems around the U.S. We've used the 7-inch choke on land. Surprisingly, one of our best customers, they wanted a 7-inch choke for a land job, and we put it out there, and they're blown away by the performance by it. In fact, one of the comments is every time they're going to drill that type of well, that 7-inch choke is what they'll be coming back to.
Man, that sounds really good. And this has really been helpful to understand, as you said earlier, not necessarily the hardware, but really the philosophy and the high level overview of how we as an organization see the managed pressure drilling space. So really appreciate the insight. So I've been speaking with Dwayne Barnwell, and he is the MPD Western Hemisphere Sales Account Manager. I've been talking about MPD, not only the technology, but really the packages and the total solution that NOV has. So if you're just jumping in now as we're kind of wrapping up here, and you said, man, I had a question for Dwayne, fortunately for you, we have a way for you to get that to him. So you can email him directly, straight to the man, Dwayne Barnwell, we've got that on the screen there, and you can send him an email, or if you'd like to get some more information on your own, you can head over to nov.com/mpd, and you can get more information on that. So Dwayne, thanks so much for the time and really giving us a great insight on the world of MPD.
No, thank you very much for having me on, and I really enjoyed spending some time with you guys today.
Absolutely. So we're now going to go back to Shelby to get our Rig Geeks Post of the Week answer. So Shelby, I saw those answers flying in the comments when we first asked it. So can you give us maybe that photo and the question again for folks?
Absolutely, yeah. So we had, we'll pull it out. There's the picture. So we asked, what type of choke is this, hydraulic or electric? And like you said, we got questions or answers flying in. It was really great to see. And I believe it was Attila on LinkedIn was the first to correctly answer that it was a hydraulic choke, or is a hydraulic choke. And as far as the bonus question, I saw a lot of people answering. I didn't see, maybe I missed it. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But the answer is actually all of the above. It was a little bit of a trick question we threw at y'all this week. So yeah, where can this choke be used? It can be used on offshore, shelf, or land. So yeah, that's our Rig Geek Post of the Week or Question of the Week this week. Yeah,
one of those. The answer is all of the above, which is personally the type of question I hate the most. But that was a good one. That was a good one. So fair enough. Cool. Well, thanks Shelby. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And thank you all for joining us and for participating, whether it was Rig Geeks or really asking some questions. We always appreciate any and all feedback and really engagement, because we're doing this for you, for the community, for those in the industry who want to learn and understand more about the technology that NOV has to offer, and really how we kind of see the world. But again, conversation. So feel free to send us an email. You can reach our social media team at socialmedia@nov.com, or you can send us a voicemail. And again, that number is going to be on your screen, but it's 346-223-4799. And just drop us a note. Let us know what you think about the show, or if you have topics that you'd like for us to cover in a future NOV Live. So thanks for joining us. I'm Michael Gaines, and for all of us here at NOV, thanks for watching and for listening, and we'll talk to you later.